So this year we're getting a My Little Pony movie instead of an Equestria Girls movie, but we are not without Equestria Girls content. And that brings us to the Equestria Girls shorts. Actually, at 22 minutes long each, it's more like the pilot and 2 episodes of a possible Equestria Girls TV series. We'll get more into it later on in the video. Let's go over what we got so far. The first episode is called Dance Magic. It's set sometime after the events of Legends of Everfree and a few months after the events of Friendship Games. The girls are doing various activities to raise money to repair the damages done to Camp Everfree during their battle, and probably no offense to Pinkie Pie accidentally blowing stuff up. When it's Rarity's turn to think of a way to make money, this episode basically becomes a Rarity-focused episode, and we see Rarity deciding to go with the idea of creating a music video and entering a contest to win some prize money. It'll be quite a gamble because she has to spend their earnings on fabric to make costumes, but if they win, and they're confident they will win, they'll be making more than enough money to pay for the repairs to Camp Everfree and have plenty left over. If they fail to win the contest, they'll be set back to $0 and will have to think of another new way to raise money. When Rarity runs into the girls from Crystal Prep -1 for some unexplained reason, she tells them about her plans for the music video, and much like Sherry Pulomere did in Rarity Takes Manhattan, the Shadowbolts decide to take Rarity's idea and do it themselves. When Rarity finds out that they've taken her idea, she goes back to her friends and sits down with them and tries to think of a new idea together. And then the story takes a turn away from what Rarity Takes Manhattan did, and it does something completely different but still interesting. She overhears the Shadowbolt girls talking about how, even though they stole an idea from Rarity, they're, one, confident that Rarity is creative enough to think of a new idea, and they're not really stopping the Rainbooms from competing like Rarity thinks they are. And two, they're having a hard time coming up with an original song. I guess they don't want to use an existing song, because of YouTube copyright claims and all that sort of thing. With no original song, but very great dance moves, the Shadowboats don't have much of a music video. On the other hand, the Rainbooms have an original song, but their dance moves are suffering something horribly. Despite constant practice, they're not getting better, and this is when Rarity realizes that each group has half of the music video down, and they could benefit a lot by doing the music video together. In doing the music video together, they become closer friends, and the once two rival groups see something in each other that gains each other's respect for each other, and they become closer friends. It's a nice little story to follow up the events of the previous movies and show us how the characters have changed and grown since the last time that we saw them. It's nothing at all needed, but it's something nice to have. As a standalone Finn, this is just a nice little bridging the gap between movies moment. But as a start off of a series, things are about to get interesting. In the next episode, we find out that the girls have successfully raised the money to repair Camp Everfree, and because of this, an alumni of the camp has invited them to be on his movie set as he shoots a Daring Do movie. This alumni was previously in the background of the Legends of Everfree movie during the party to save the camp. It was never explained who he is or what connection he had to the characters, only that he showed up for the party. Now he finally gets a speaking role, personality, and a name, and even a family. So it's nice to see a former background character finally becoming an interesting character and putting to rest any headcanons and fan theories about him possibly being related to Timber Spruce for no reason other than the fact that they both had the same hair color, which is kind of silly of us to have assumed in the first place. We also get two new characters. The actress who's playing Daring Do, Chestnut Magnifico, and Juniper Montage, the director's assistant who has access to all of the parts of the studio and gets to help out around the sets. I really like this character, not just because of her color scheme and her clothing and decorations, which I assume would be her cutie mark otherwise, but also because she's working one of my many dream jobs, helping out on a film set and being close to the movie industry. She should be lucky and privileged to have such a position, but instead she seems jealous of the movie star who's playing Daring Do, as she wants to play that role herself. As the story goes on, it basically becomes an episode of Scooby-Doo. A mysterious figure in a black cloak who stays in the shadows is stealing props and costumes and messing with sets and causing accidents while trying to scare off the movie star and close down the production of the movie. At the same time, Pinkie Pie and Spite feel the Shaggy and Scooby role of running around eating all the time, while Twilight takes on the Vilma role of being the intelligent one in glasses who always seems to solve the mystery. There's some additional fan pandering that happens in this episode too, when the main characters run onto the set of a Paraponies movie and get forcibly dressed into the Paraponies costumes. It makes me wonder why, again, the human equivalent of the Paraponies would be called the Paraponies in both universes, and why they wouldn't have picked a humanified name to be the Parapony equivalent. Anyhow, we move on to the third installment, and this one picks up with very tight, impressive continuity of showing that the movie has been completed and is still relevant to the plot as it's premiering in this episode, and the music video from the first episode is also airing on televisions all over the background. This is a really great thing that they're doing, and it's a writing style that was used during the Strawberry Shortcake Berry Bitty Adventures series as well. If you've never watched that, I highly suggest watching it, because Strawberry Shortcake and Equestria Girls are both using very solid, very tight continuity where stuff that happened in previous episodes gets remembered in future episodes, and everything comes together real nicely. This is quite a lot of a bit more enjoyable than episodes like Not Asking for Trouble and Cart Before the Ponies and Spike at Your Service. As this third episode continues, Juniper finds a mirror that gets enchanted by some of the magic that escaped from Equestria at the end of Legends of the Everfree. And this is where we come into our third plot element, that if these 3 episodes become a full series, this could be a reoccurring thing with different characters, like what we see happen in Toad Leoto or Miraculous Ladybug. Characters who are going through emotional stress can be turned into villains by coming in contact with the magical MacGuffin of the episode, and they can remain villains until the magical item is dealt with in the way that it must be dealt with. So now we are turning characters introduced in previous episodes into temporary villains. With her new magical powers, Juniper eventually stumbles upon how that magic mirror works, as in it grants wishes. Juniper uses the mirror to grant wish after wish until she uses it to grant the wish of getting rid of her rivals, the main characters. That leaves Sunset Shimmer to save the day with help from a surprise guest, Starlight Glimmer. It's actually something that was kind of spoiled through fan art, but because fan art comes in all shapes and sizes, it becomes hard to tell headcanon human Starlight Glimmer from in-canon Starlight Glimmer, so it was actually easy to dismiss the fan art as just fan interpretations of what Starlight might look like as a human, and to not see these pictures as actual spoilers, which it turned out they kind of were. So it was one time when a spoiler didn't actually spoil me, plus Dr. Wolf already revealed the synopsis, so I kind of already knew somewhat what would happen. But it's still really fun to watch people see this episode for their first time, because the reactions are great. Starlight does her best to fight this thing off, but eventually has to convince Juniper to reverse the magic of the mirror all on her own and seek redemption. The story concludes with Starlight Glimmer being told by Twilight that she can stay in the human world for a few days. It made me wonder, where does this fall on the My Little Pony timeline? If this is set during Season 6, it makes perfect sense that Starlight Glimmer actually wasn't present in many of Season 6's episodes, because she would have been in the human world during those times. With things being left open, it leaves the series open to continue as a regular picked-up weekly series. It's nice to get this now because it shows Hasbro and DHX whether or not Equestria Girls is going to bring in an audience to watch these episodes. Anyhow, that's all I have to say about that. Thank you for watching, and good night.